You want to know what's challenging about modern dating? Usually, you don't receive the whole picture or the best understanding of what went wrong until your relationship has ended. We missed red flags and warning signs that were there in front of our faces because we were so engrossed in the passion. You can even say to yourself, if I only knew this about this person from day one, I could have saved so much time, energy, money. Tons of money. You guys seen the pricing for dinner for two lately? Inflation's no joke. Because of this, we're going through 7 relationship red flags in today's video that you should never ignore. Quick note. These are my personal criteria. I encourage you to construct your own list, but I think that these are a fantastic jump-off point for everyone. In addition, I'm referring to committed, serious relationships. Instead than just texting each other or meeting someone you met through an app. You are serious about them and they are serious about you. Early in my 20s, I started seeing a woman, and we frequently got into these sudden, major arguments. I would question her where she was coming up with these ideas or notions, or why she was making this such a huge issue. We would track it back to whatever one of her pals said her after asking her 2 or 3 questions. I personally witnessed the impact friends can have. Hence, it could be cause for concern if the person you're dating and planning to go serious with has some dubious friends that you don't particularly like. Birds of a feather flock together, goes the proverb. Perhaps you have heard that. The 5 individuals you spend the most time with define you on average. That is true, not just a catchphrase. I have read a study that said you have a 50% or something higher chance of being overweight or fat yourself if your best friends are. Because you do become the people you spend the most time with. If you get a terrible gut feeling about someone, it may be a clue of how they will actually be or behave in the future. To start, let me emphasize that I think everyone deserves a second opportunity. But if the person you're getting serious with has a history of infidelity or cheating, you want to really listen for how they talk about what happened when it comes up. Again, if someone justifies toxic conduct by saying, I had to cheat because I wasn't getting XYZ, they haven't taken full responsibility for their mistakes, feel awful about it, and are sorry it ever happened. I wouldn't sign up for it, personally. Social media. This will be an extremely unpopular choice. But, the information is public and we are aware of how harmful it is to the average individual. Not only does it affect your dopamine levels and cause you to sort of disconnect from reality, but it also has negative effects on your self-esteem and creates false expectations that control a lot of your behaviors. Someone who is excessively enamored with social media should be avoided. I'm not referring to someone who updates a small circle of pals on Facebook, Instagram, or another platform because that's a good thing to do. Social media is made for that purpose. I'm referring to someone who is obnoxious about posting stuff for approval. The problem is that contented people don't waste time on social media trying to persuade others of their happiness. Truly wealthy people don't spend countless hours on social media attempting to persuade complete strangers that they are wealthy and successful. I know some people will flip out since this is a bit of a hot take, but let me ask you, if you were dating someone, would you allow them to use a dating app? You might say, of course not, that's not true. No, absolutely not. Do you believe that any celebs use Tinder or other dating apps? They utilize Instagram instead. They slide into the DM in this manner. In many respects, Instagram has largely taken the place of dating applications. If you meet someone who is just extremely obsessed with portraying a certain image on social media for the benefit of a large number of strangers and get a lot of validation from it, that is a red flag in my opinion. Of course, this is different if they have a business or a brand on there. To me personally, it's a warning sign if they won't at the very least allow you to private your Instagram account out of respect for the relationship. Fourth, consider the track record. There is a proverb, leave if it smells like crap. Check your shoe if, however, it smells like crap everywhere you go. Take note of how they discuss their ex-partner. Look, I'm not one of those people in a committed relationship who tells you never to bring up your ex or mention their name. Like, if you spend that much time with someone, it makes sense that you once liked them. So yes, they will inevitably arise from time to time. Not a problem, Not a warning sign, in my opinion. If they start telling a lot of stories about how toxic or narcissistic their ex was, it should raise warning flags. A major warning sign is if they've had a lot of toxic, narcissistic, or the worst ex-partners. In each relationship they were in, they made up half. Having said that, do narcissistic people exist? Absolutely. Does abuse occur in relationships? Absolutely. I'm not bringing that up. I'm referring to a person who has never dated somebody who wasn't flawed in some way. Ironically, it's narcissism if all the people you've ever dated have issues but not you. Since we are all imperfect human beings who are still working on becoming better, I believe that it is precisely these flaws that help us form strong bonds and connections with others. When people are trying to date an image of someone rather than the person in front of them, it is one of the top red signs that famous marriage counselors see in couples counseling, according to a book I was reading. This one is what I refer to as the fixer-upper, where you date someone because of their potential and want to remain with them because of what they might become. As a result, you fail to see many warning signs that are just in front of you. It's a common fallacy that after you get married, difficulties will magically disappear. I don't think that's genuinely true. I think that a lot of the difficulties you have before the relationship don't just get fixed overnight when you turn a switch and now you're legally married. They still exist. When you first start dating, you wear rose-colored glasses. It's like being intoxicated, literally, like drunk on the passion of the romance, and it's incredibly hard to think clearly. You think subjectively, seeing things through the prism of your feelings, especially when they're at their highest. And that's why we initially failed to notice many of these warning signs, which were once again staring us in the face. Your family, friends, and those close to you, however, are not a part of the connection. They are more impartial. Since they are farther away and are not wearing glasses, it is actually simpler for them to see what is happening. There is some wonderful self-improvement advice that states that if you consistently receive the same feedback about yourself, it is likely accurate. In that vein, I believe that relationships benefit from the same guidance. If you consistently receive unfavorable comments or assessments about your partner from people you respect and trust who are not in your relationship, friends, family, and acquaintances, it may be true. Love may wane, but morals never do, I've always maintained. A warning sign is if the person you're dating seriously and growing serious with isn't in agreement with you about topics that are truly important to you. Future issues will result from that. Friction and disputes will result from it. Hence, before moving further in your relationship, be sure your principles, life goals, and beliefs are in line. 6. Trust your instincts. While making decisions, your intuition may be a very useful tool. When it comes to romantic relationships, it's especially important to pay heed to your gut instinct. Don't dismiss it if something seems strange or if you have a terrible feeling about the person you're dating. You might want to pay attention to what that small voice in your head is trying to tell you. It might not always be easy to specify what's wrong, but it's vital to trust your instincts and investigate deeper if something feels strange. Number 7. They don't respect your boundaries. A good relationship entails respecting each other's boundaries and personal space. It's a big red signal if the person you're seeing keeps stepping over your limits, doesn't listen to your requests, or attempts to trick you into doing something you don't want to. Both partners in a loving relationship should feel comfortable expressing their wants and be willing to make concessions to keep the relationship in harmony. If your spouse won't do that, it's time to reevaluate your connection. Finally, it's important to be aware of red flags when dating because they can help you spot possible issues early on and keep you from engaging in a harmful relationship. Follow your instincts, pay attention to your friends and family, and put your health first. Keep in mind that you deserve to be in a committed partnership with your spouse that allows for mutual growth and success.